In Portland, Maine, lies the Western Cemetery. About 12 acres big and sitting on the slope of the Western Promenade overlooking the beautiful water.
Tra la 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 la.
Thank you, Elena. Now on to some seriousness. The Western Cemetery sits right next to Maine Medical Center. Joggers, dogs, and many visitors come to look at this cemetery for peace and quiet. The Western Cemetery was first established in 1829 and designated as a Catholic ground in 1843, where more land was added. Originally established as an Irish immigrant cemetery during the years of the potato famine. Though burials began in the early 1800s, they had since stopped in 1910 due to poor weather and bad burying conditions. The Old Catholic Ground is an area of the cemetery for the primarily Irish Catholic immigrants who fled the Irish potato famine and settled in Portland. From 1843 to 1882, 900 people were buried in the section. As of 2003, 50 headstones remained. The Western Cemetery is known for the large number of grave desecrations and general disorganization. For example, from July 1st, 1988 to August 1st, 1989, an estimated 1,942 tombs were desecrated. Likewise, it is unknown how many burials have taken place in the cemetery, though author William Jordan estimated 6,600. Have you ever seen a ghost here?
Well, I don't know, it's pretty creepy at night. I've seen people that I've thought were ghosts, but then actually ended up being people. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe that was like the ghost tricking me into thinking it was a person.
Many visitors say that this grave houses a witch, others say a vampire. More reasonable explorers of the truth point out that the prominent cross that mounts the sarcophagus, in Latin inscriptions that the wreath of the stone indicate the man buried there is a deacon.
So right here, as you can see, is supposedly a tombstone of a witch, and the story is that over time when she was buried, her gravestone began to rise up, and so this is what we see today.
A number of the tombs here have been opened with no contents found inside. For example, the Longfellow tomb, home to the parents of Portland resident Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, was opened and nothing was found inside, with no record of what happened to those entombed there. Right over here we have these tombs made up of politicians, ministers, priests, and really interesting people from our past. Right over here we have Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's dad, who is buried here. He was an old minister back in the 1800s. Why do you like to come to this cemetery?
I don't know. I like coming here on weekends sometimes with like my friends. It's really peaceful. You can like walk through, read all the graves. It's really like calming.
So what's your favorite thing about the cemetery?
It's a very peaceful environment.
In October 2003, the cemetery began a restoration and reconstruction project run by the stewards of the Western Cemetery and the City of Portland and funded with municipal funds.
Really?
Though you can only see about 1,000 graves here, originally about 6,600 graves are really buried here in the archives. The Maine Law of 1851 outlawed the manufacture and sale of alcohol in the state of Maine except for medicinal and mechanical purposes. Rumors began to spread the Portland mayor Neil Dow, an outspoken prohibitionist, also known as the Napoleon of Temperance, was keeping a large supply of alcohol in the city. Portland's large Irish immigrant population were particularly vocal critics of the Maine law, seeing it as a thinly veiled racist attack on their culture. On the afternoon of June 2nd, a crowd began to gather outside of the building where the spirits were being held. Police were unable to deal with the growing mob, and Dow called out of the militia. The exact details of the climax of the riot had been hotly debated. One man, John Robbins, an immigrant and mate of the Maine sailing vessel for Deer Isle, was killed and 7 others were wounded. The crowd was dispersed, but Dow was widely criticized for his heavy-handed tactics during the incident.